Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Admas Sandile. The government of the day deploys its own executives to positions of leadership, from ministers, deputies, generals, commissioners, premiers. Wherever it governs, it sends its own people to occupy the so-called political positions. But these are positions of power. And the ANC is rapidly declining because it deploys people who do not care about the interest of the state or the interest of black people in South Africa or its voters. For example, the ANC in Guyana receives not less than 80% of votes. But when you check the material conditions in Guyana, you realize that all the basic needs are compromised. And this is where the ANC, in terms of numbers, receives a lot of votes. But not only in Guyana, but in national level. Majority of the ministers, this is a challenge, majority of the ministers, if they can be recalled today, or all of them recalled today, and we say they must put their CVs up there and check which big companies are going to employ them. Majority of them are going to be unemployed because the ANC deploys people who are not credible enough to be in leadership positions, because the leaders, the top six, your president, want people around him who he knows that they are on his side, and it compromises the leadership quality that we need in order to move the state. Thabo Mbeki makes a very important statement to say, recently we have a minister of finance who knows nothing about what is happening in health. We have a minister of police who doesn't understand defense. We have a minister of roads and transport who knows nothing about finance, for example. We have a minister of women and children and youth who do not understand another department, and saying that there is no way that the state can move when the people who occupies critical positions or strategic positions have no understanding whatsoever as to what is it that they are there for. Recently, the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, said, without even being questioned, that he was once a minister of transport and he knew nothing about transport, but he never refused that position because they are there for positions. He took that position and he brought people who do not understand transport. He brought teachers, and we expected him to make sure that Transnet is up and running, the railway is up and running, roads and everything. But he couldn't deliver because he himself admits that he knew nothing about transport. Mbalula is not known to have or attain any qualification, your master's or even a junior degree. I don't think he even went to university. But he's a good politician. I think now he occupies a proper position, not him being a minister, because he admits that he knew nothing about anything that is professional, because he's a politician. But he was tasked to go and be the Minister of Transport. All he could do was just to go out there and be parade and be seen to be doing something, because he took that job serious. To them, it's an opportunity and the package that comes with being a minister. So cadre deployment is not taking South Africa anywhere. Cadre deployment has brought South Africa to its knees. And professionals are no longer interested in politics, because whenever they try to come to the party, they are not afforded an opportunity to participate in leadership, because the leadership want people who will always say yes and not question anything. They want people who will always support them and never betray them. And they are not spoiled for choice. They are not spoiled for choice. They end up giving us people who will come and occupy very serious positions, but without knowledge as to what needs to happen. And they don't even employ credible advisors. Even an advisor must be political affiliated in order to be trusted or given that chance to be an advisor, which is bad because we have a lot of professors in these universities, although many of them are foreigners. But if they have the knowledge, I think they should be considered to advise on matters related to these departments and as to what is it that needs to happen. I mean, there was a consultative meeting with professionals organized by and hosted by the EFF recently. There is one health expert who spoke about the finances of the health system in South Africa. That there exists apartheid structure or apartheid infrastructure that needs to be maintained. And from the budget that they are given, 75% alone goes into paying salaries. They are left with 25% to maintain the current infrastructure, which is very old and expensive to maintain. And they're expected to expand from that. So the reason we're not having new hospitals, it's because the people who are there in budget allocation and planning and things like that, they are not credible enough. They are politicians and not professionals. And they don't want to involve professionals to deal with these issues. Zizi Kodwa, the current Minister of Sports, on Monday, upon the arrival of the Springbok from their successful win of the Rugby World Cup in France, on addressing the media, he was asked a question as to how does he feel when he see all these successful rugby players emerging from private schools and not from public schools, which are more than 23,000. We don't even have top 2 that can produce rugby players to go and represent us in a sport that we excel. Upon being asked that question, all he could say was that they have a plan in paper to try and make sure that there is competition between private schools and the public schools, and to try and utilize private school and infrastructure. I don't think people who own private schools will agree to that, because our people are going to destroy that infrastructure, because we know that whenever government is involved in anything, that thing gets destroyed. They don't have a plan to create opportunities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of sport codes, in public sector, in public schools. They don't have that plan. They don't have that intention. They don't even have a plan, because they imagine a plan to try and get access to the facilities in private schools, which I don't think they're going to agree. So he never said that we are planning on introducing rugby in all the schools, public schools in South Africa, because we're doing well in rugby. Because we're not doing well in soccer. Even soccer has been phased out. Those competitions and everything have been phased out. So you ask yourself a question, what are these ministers doing? Where is the budget going? Because when there's a budget allocation, they know the demands of that budget. That is why they say they're taking these billions to a particular department. But when the money does not reach the lower levels, who is there to account? Because cadre deployment is a problem. Everyone else is working for their master and to get at least some change for their pockets and their family. And that's it. And the majority are struggling on the ground, which is bad. So cadre deployment is not taking us anywhere. These cadres don't want to read, don't want to study, they are greedy. So it's bad. We need a political party that is going to attract professionals and give them a chance to lead, hold them to account. The only thing that these politicians can do is to sit there in their offices, monitor these departments from their offices, monitor these professionals that they are supposed to employ, and hold them to account to say, we employed you to make sure that railway is up and running, fresh, smooth, within 3 months. You haven't delivered. The only thing that you did was for you to take your girlfriend to Dubai. What happened? And then they recalled that nonsense. But we don't see that. They want to be in charge, and the Minister of Finance is saying that we are running out of cash. It's just chaos in South Africa. This is Authentic Info Podcast. I'm your host, Atma Sandile Chauke. Don't forget to subscribe. Let us grow together. Hit the notification bell. Hit the subscription button. Like, share, comment. Thank you.